Hey everyone, welcome to Sketch-A-Day. I'm Spencer, and today I just want to give you a quick tip on something that's really important to help make your drawings pop. But before we get started, I have a new feature that I've launched on my website, and that is my newsletter. So what that's about is I want a way to connect more directly with you guys, my audience. So if you can go to sketchaday.com/newsletter, hit subscribe, you'll actually get something really cool. You'll get this free sketch tip guide. I call it the Super Sketch Guide, Sketch Tip Guide. And that just includes some things I've learned along the way as I've practiced my drawing, things that have helped me out. I've also included some materials that I use and other tips. So check that out. In addition to that, if you've ever wanted to purchase some of my sketches or brushes that I've created, there's a 10% off discount code included when you do subscribe. So be sure to check that out. Also, subscribe to my YouTube here at sketchaday.com and check out my Instagram as well. So let's get to it. So I went ahead and started ahead of time here. I've got two surfaces at 90 degrees to each other, as well as a curved surface. Now, the tools I'll be using today are just these markers. I've got a Cool Gray 5, 3, and 7. And I want to show you something interesting. Now, if you take a moment and look around the room that you're in, or pretty much anywhere that has a light, you'll notice something. When you have two surfaces, say these are my walls, and they change direction, 90 degrees or whatever, you'll notice that there is a difference between those two surfaces. That's contrast in value. And contrast in value is going to help reinforce the three-dimensionality of whatever it is you're trying to show. So in our case here, we have two surfaces. If I just start shading in my surfaces, and were I to apply my marker evenly here, so again, I'm using a Copic marker. You can find links for those in my videos typically. If I just shade this in by applying some parallel strokes in sequence, right, so we have even values, there is some information that tells us that these are two different surfaces at angle to each other. However, adding a bit of contrast is really going to help that pop. So now that I've given my paper a chance to dry, I'm using the same 30% or C3 marker, and I can apply that over the same spot. And you'll notice that now in applying my marker, I'm creating a gradient. Well, I'm doing two things. I'm creating a gradient, but I'm also introducing contrast right where the surface changes. Now I could leave it there with my 30% gray, but I'm going to jump to 50% and hit it one more time now that we've dried a little bit. And you should notice that now this really feels like two different surfaces. In fact, because light doesn't hit any surface typically completely evenly, on my top surface, just applying some marker at the back side here and gradating toward the front, we then create a stronger impression that these surfaces are indeed changing direction. So we have directionality to our top surface and we have directionality to our front surface. Well, what about curved surfaces? What do you do there? You can actually check out one of my videos about how to draw a cylinder and render that with marker, which explains a bit more the mechanics. But if you're not mathematically inclined or have a physics background, this should help a little bit. So if we start in the same fashion, you'll notice that I'm outlining the shape first with the marker. That's just something that helps me. And then we fill in this curved surface like so. It looks pretty flat, okay? But what I want to do is use the power of contrast again to help round this out. So right about past halfway, now that my marker's dried a bit, I'm using the same 30% gray marker. And what I want to do is create essentially a gradient where I'm going from dark to lighter, and lighter on the other side as well. And that's going to help create the impression that this thing is round. So In my dark section, applying my 50% gray marker, like so. And in my light section, applying a bit of that 30% gray. So now you can see, especially if you squint your eyes and look at this, I now have contrast, which is helping to reinforce the idea of three-dimensionality. So that's my quick tip for you today. Think of areas and sketches you're working on that you might be able to use something like this. For me, this is something I use pretty much every time I'm sketching with markers or even working digitally. Doesn't matter what you're using, what you're drawing with. You want to put your lightest lights against your darkest darks. There's the tip. And use the power of contrast to help your sketches pop. Well, thanks for joining me for this quick tip on sketchaday.com, or my YouTube channel rather. If you'd like to follow me and see other stuff I draw, like people and robots and all that good stuff, you can follow me on Instagram at sketchaday.com. And once again, be sure to sign up for my newsletter for that free giveaway. That's it for today, and thanks for watching right here on Sketchaday.